Good morning and welcome. Happy Saturday. A few minutes later than usual today. I got stuck in the middle a bit, and I'm going to be talking about that as part of this YEMIG, so stay tuned for that. And we have an awesome card that fits right in with the circumstances. Good morning, Nancy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Looks like someone else has just popped on. Glad you are here. Good morning. Happy Saturday. I'm just staring at my Believe pillow. Feels relevant this morning. Good morning, Abigail. Good morning, Joe Neal. Hello, hello, hello. Everybody popping in. This is good. So, where to begin? I'll do this at the beginning. Hopefully I'll remember to do it at the end. A reminder that tomorrow is our book club. We are doing, I think it's chapters, look, Bonnie, because you aren't going to remember. Chapters 3 and 4 from Atul Gawande's Being Mortal, which also fits right in with the circumstance I want to share with you as we get rolling here. Thank you for the Christmas trees. That's pretty awesome. So anyway, book club tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And the questions were sent out ahead of time, so hopefully you had time to peruse those a little bit. And we may pick and choose some of them, because last time we didn't get through them all, because it was such a good discussion. Such a good discussion. So, let me think here. I think I'm going to read the card first, and then I'll talk about the situation, and then we'll kind of see where we go from there. Looks like, let's see, Barb's here. Good morning, Barb. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. And, yeah. Power of Surrender. Judith Orloff. Absolutely perfect. Nancy, your name just rolled again, so maybe there's something in here for you as well. The Power of Surrender deck. Good morning, Gwen. Good morning, good morning. Again, I'm reminding everybody that tomorrow is our book club. Card today is Surrender Frustration. Let's take a breath. Let it go. Good morning, Beth. Surrender Frustration. And as I read the words, I think it will help explain that. But let's start with some tapping and some breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Carolyn. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, twice as long with the exhale. In through the nose, hold at the top, out through the mouth. Hopefully feeling grounded, settled, ready for surrender frustration. The words, it's short and sweet. I mean, there's not much there, but it's spot on. And then I have something to share with you. So, frustration doesn't open any doors. Frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath. Let's do that. Center yourself and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. Interestingly, one of my nurse friends said that when she was the director of nursing at a nursing care facility, she would often say to her nurses as they were freaking out about something, there's always time to breathe. There's always time to breathe. And once we do take that nice deep breath, we make much better decisions. Much better decisions. So, frustration doesn't open any doors. If one of you would put that in the feed, I think that would be lovely. Lovely, lovely. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. I'm someone who, when something unfolds, I tend to go into overdrive. Do this, let's do that, follow here, call this, do. And while things get done, good morning, Mel. Glad you are here. Welcome. Thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mel. The more we see it, the better it's going to sink in, right? Frustration doesn't open any doors. We need to calm ourselves. We need to move past the amygdala hijack, the cortisol and the adrenaline flowing. Yes, it's wise. When things get too crazy and you're holding on too tight, take a break. I'm going to go make a lap around the building. I'm going to go sit in my car and listen to a song. I'm going to go to the bathroom. That was always a good one for me. I'm going to take a potty break. I'm down for now. Fart in a tornado. Yes, exactly. My dad used to say fart in a mitten. I don't know how you get a fart in a mitten, but nonetheless. Okay, I'm going to go off on a riff on farts here just because. Have any of you seen that video of the puppy and the little kid? And they've got, I don't know if it's flour or powder or whatever all over the place, and there were little footprints through it. And the kid farts, and a little poof of air goes, and all the stuff goes flying, whatever it is, and that, of course, makes the kid laugh, and then the puppy pretends to fall over. I'm sure that part is AI, but nonetheless, it's cute. So, surrender frustration. My frustration, yesterday, I was on a Zoom, and my phone rang. I have it turned off, but I could see that it was a 906 number. Now, for those of you who are my UPer contingent, you know that 906 is the UP. So I'm like, okay, I don't recognize the number. I wonder if that's my daughter's work number. I wonder if that's her soon-to-be mother-in-law or stepmother-in-law, because yesterday we were talking about baby shower. I wonder who that is. But I'm on a Zoom, so I'm paying attention to the Zoom, and I thought to myself, as I always do, they'll leave a message if it's important. Well, at the end, there was no message, and I went about my business. I was baking pumpkin spice cake because I had leftover cream cheese frosting. It's awesome. It's too bad you guys don't live here because I can't eat this whole cake by myself, and my dad and my sister are in Sun Prairie at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll give some to Diane because we're going to go out to eat today and go do something. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to go do something. So I'll give her some. Anywho, there was no message. So I figured it was one of those calls where they use an area code that's familiar to you to try to get you to answer the phone. So I just swiped and deleted the call. This morning, when I got up, the message dropped in. And it was a woman I've met a couple of times and I've known of because she's the power of attorney for healthcare for someone who I treated for many, many, many years. And I may cry while we're talking about this because it's a fear that I have. So this poor woman, I probably treated her 20 years ago. She's been single her whole life. She was an OB nurse for 40 plus years in the UP. Little town, little hospital, you know the drill. And at some point the hospital closed, of course. And so she then became a massage therapist, and because she didn't want to move. And so she had a very thriving massage business. And so I get this call from her person who's her power of attorney. And my person, the one that I treated, is not doing well. She's got dementia. And she's in an apartment by herself. And she's been very self-sufficient her whole life. And her POA friend is calling me saying, I don't know what to do. I spent 6 hours with her yesterday. She's very upset. She's very overwhelmed. She's trying to part with her stuff so she can go to what this woman calls nursing home, which I'm hoping is memory care, not just, and I don't know that town or what kind of facilities they have that are nearby. But this poor woman made a slew of phone calls yesterday, got a hold of whatever this facility is, nursing care, whatever. We'll call you back on Monday. Why is it shit always jumps off on Friday? Why? Okay, frustration. So she took this person to the ER. They checked her over. Physically, she's fine. So they sent her home. Not helpful. Called, what do they call that? The emergency care number. And they're going to get back to her with some information that might be helpful. It's the weekend. What do we do with this poor woman for the weekend, right? So I haven't called her back yet. I'll call her back after I'm done talking with you guys and apologize profusely that the stupid message didn't drop in yesterday when she probably could have used my help much more. But so this poor woman's in her apartment, scared, not oriented, a recipe for disaster, right? So what I'm going to do is see what we can come up with to help her through the weekend, whether it's maybe the POA can take her to her home and just go about her business and do her stuff, but still have this person in a safe place. Maybe it's I'll rattle the cage of the bishop I know up there and see if there's an Episcopal church in that town, and could any of the church members maybe even spend a couple hours with her just to get through. And with regard to the stuff, and then giving notice, and I can fully understand why she's overwhelmed and why she's scared, especially when she woke up yesterday and wasn't oriented, didn't recognize where she was. She was in her own apartment that she's had for a really long time. So I just think surrendering frustration will be very helpful in this circumstance. Calling in the troops is going to be helpful. I know all of her siblings are deceased. I think she had at least one niece. I don't know. We'll have to see who else we can hunt up. I know the person who's the POA, who's her friend, has been largely responsible for the caregiving stuff. And I don't think it's been, up until this crisis point, I don't think it's been a difficult amount of care. Now we're there. And where are the systems that are supposed to kick in to be of support to people who are vulnerable? And what really pisses me off is this is a woman who served and served and served and served her entire life. Now where are the people who are going to serve her? So, a frustrating situation, a scary situation. So we'll do what we can to get her what she needs. But what I hope we can all do is be thinking ahead. Thank you, Beth. Greatly appreciated. And I want to say it was North Point? I don't know. Yes, where are the systems? This absolutely relates to the book that we're reading and going to be reviewing 2 more chapters tomorrow in book club. Where are the systems? And so what happens is this kind of emergency situation falls on the people who love somebody. And when they say that the quality of care you get in a facility is directly related to the number of people on the outside who give a shit about you, they are true. They are accurate. And interestingly, in the book, the research he's talking about shows that if you have children, and especially if you have a female child, a daughter, you're far more likely to get quality care, better quality care. Not necessarily quality care, but better quality care. Boy, do we know that from my dad having been in 2 different facilities. The hospital itself was pretty much okay, although we had to address some things. But the rehab facility, again, the specials, PT, OT, speech therapy, they were wonderful. They were great. The CNAs, put on a CPAP machine and don't turn it on. So he struggles to breathe all night long. So then every night thereafter, we have to be there to be sure that whoever puts it on knows to turn the machine on. Yeah. Pathways. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, and we all need to have someone advocating. And years ago, I had another client, and she was a brilliant woman, and she had been a med tech at one of the local hospitals in Green Bay. She hired a retired nurse to be her advocate. She said, when she had some health issues, she said, I know enough to be dangerous, but I don't know enough. And I need someone, and none of her family members were capable. They didn't have any medical background. So she hired this retired nurse to be her advocate and go along to appointments, etc. And now there are actually some advocacy agencies like that. But in the UP or in rural areas, finding what you need, even finding a hospital, can be a nightmare. 2 hours, 3 hours to get to the hospital. Yeah, what a broken system. So, I apologize. That's my rant for today. Thank you for the resources. I will do some research online and call this poor woman back and see if we can get her some support and my former client some support. Oi. So, surrender frustration. Frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. Let's take a breath together. I'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.